Technology has been developing a lot these days and it has been very advanced. You can see everybody in this world with at least one of any type of technology in their house, such as TVs, tablets, iPads, and many more. But have you ever thought how it affected children? Hello. My name is Rishikesh, and the topic I'm going to talk about is the disadvantage of children overusing technology. Did you know children between the age of 2 to 6, they tend to develop much faster than other age groups, and they at least would learn 10 new words per day, which is based on research done. As we all know, children in the 90s are socially active with their friends because they can be seen playing a lot of outdoor games such as football, badminton with their friends, or sometimes they would play indoor games such as board games and many more. Unlike the 90s children, 21st century children are mostly seen using devices and surfing the internet. They are mostly seen interacting with their friends through social media such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. And occasionally, they would invite their friends to their home and they would play video games instead of playing some sports which they are supposed to be doing. And it is quite rare to see kids playing sports these days. A study has shown that kids tend to use their gadgets and technology rather than spending time with their family. And another study also showed that kids, they tend to spend 4 hours a day using the gadgets, but less than an hour to for interacting with their parents. And the following clip which you're going to see is a clip from my cousin who is around the age of 5, and he is somehow interested in his iPad, and let's see what he's going to say. Like to play iPad.
I like to play iPad.
So every time you play iPad,
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you like you play foot if you like if Appa want to buy for you a new football and Appa ask you to play football, but then will you play with Appa or you will play with your iPad?
I play with my iPad.
You still will play with your iPad. Okay. So you love your iPad very much, is it? So if anybody take your iPad, what will you do?
I will say cannot take.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Vikash. From the clip just now, we can tell that this boy, who is my cousin, he loves to play iPad and he does not have the interest to play football with his father, even though his father is willing to buy a new ball for him. As you can see, some parents, they said that giving technology is good because it keeps them under control and they would behave, meanwhile parents do something else. So for example, if you have some kind of if you have something to do, you would actually give your kids some devices for them to use so that they would actually stay in one place and be under control, meanwhile you focus on whatever you need to be doing so that you can do whatever you need to do in peace, which is actually, and this results is actually based on a survey done in Canada in the year of 2012. John, do you think that children overuse technology these days?
Yes, these days they overuse technology too much to a point where they do not interact with their siblings, friends, or parents.
So, do you think they actually gain anything by doing this?
There are times where they do gain information, but most of the time they're just wasting their time on it.
So, do you think there should be a law which limits the use of technology when it comes to children?
Yes, there should be a law limiting it, but it should also be fair in the law, allowing them equal time to use their gadgets and do other stuff.
So, do you have any advice for parents or children, whoever are viewing this?
Yes, to the children, do not use your phones too much. To the parents, do not force your kids to study too much either.
Okay, thank you. So, Mrs. Vimalan, what do you think? Do you think children overuse technology?
Hi Rishikesh. Sorry, I have to answer you in the midst of cooking. Can you please repeat what's your question?
Do you think children these days overuse technology?
Partially, yes, but it also depends on what type of pages that they are surfing and what kind of application basically they are using. It can be also in a way can added advantage, benefit the kids, but in some way it can also cause disadvantages which can lead them to not a good path.
Okay, so do you think there should be a law for limiting the use of technology when it comes to children?
I believe there's already some rules and regulations in place, but I would say in this case, parents should be playing a very important role to limit in terms or know what exactly the children are basically using the technology for. But also there's a lot of advantages in terms of education and in terms of knowing the outside world. So it also depends on parents to make sure that children are using it for a good purpose.
Okay, so is there anything you would like to share to the viewers of this interview?
In short, technology is only a part of our life, but we should not let the technology control our life. We should be able to manage it well and making it used in a positive way and added advantage to our children.
Okay,
Thank you, Ryishi.
Yeah, thank you for your time.
Thank you,
Mr.
Ryishi.
Timula. So, Mrs. Jana, do you think children these days overuse technology?
Yes, I believe they do so.
So, do you think they gain anything by doing it?
By gaining anything, I don't think so because they actually become very lonely and they become very introvert by just using technology. They become sort of addicted to this technology. They do not explore their imagination. Like those days, kids, they did not have technology, so they were able to go out, play. They were able to learn life skills. But that doesn't happen to kids these days, and they become very hooked to it. So when they are hooked to it, they do not know what's happening around, surrounding them. This will sometimes this relates to a behavior like autism, and so because they are not able to socialize. Most of the time, they just look at their iPad or tab and with their videos or playing games. So I think their social skill gets affected a lot, as well as their learning skills. They don't get to learn anything by mingling with others, as well as even like if you give them a toy, so they will be like, if let's say you give them a set of blocks, so if they don't have technology, they'll be sitting there and imagining what can I do with these blocks. But if with the technology, all they do is stare at it, and you don't even know what's going on in their mind.
Okay, so do you think there should be a law to limit the use of technology when it comes to children?
I don't think there need to be a law imposed for this, because this is more of I would say part of parenting skills. Parents these days, we sometimes try to find a easy way out one of the things is that these days parents, they can afford to get their children all these gadgets where they are able to use it. So they will want to get it for their children, so they indulge. They feel like, my child deserves this, so they get it for them. Number two is also parents have got this. I think it depends on us as parents whether we want to give it to them. Let them hook to the technology or get them out of it. Like I don't think the law, there's anything to do with this law, because it's not like an offense in the first place.
Okay, so is there anything you would like to share to the viewers? Or?
I think there is nothing wrong by letting your children use technology, because if they don't use, or they are not aware of all this existence, they become left out in today's world. But I think we should have a barrier, or we should have like a limitation, like what we do. Like there was a point where my child used to be quite hooked to this like iPad, but we started reducing or limiting the usage. So now she's she's free of not using the technology, where she actually uses, like she draws, or she'll be using her flashcards or something to, um, during her pastime. So actually I think it is more on the parents, how to we should the children, we should stop this before the children get hooked to it, where we have no control on this issue.
Okay, thank you very much for your time.
Welcome.
The study has shown that when people in general use technology, they would lose the ability to think outside of the box. It is also proven that kids would have problems in their behavior when it comes to interaction. They tend to get angrier when some things happen, like for example when the battery dies in their iPad or iPhone or any devices. They would also eventually lose their good habits such as reading, and nowadays parents would actually have to force them to do their homework.
Besides technology is making them lazy, antisocial, and changing their behavior in a bad way, it is also an effect to children's safety.
When they use technology to play games or use the internet, it is not safe because we may not know what advertisements and websites they may go to. It is because that a study has proven that children are much more attracted in content with many colors or with many different kind of movement, which somehow catches their eye. And sometimes it may contain adult content such as violence.
As parents, they should be responsible in monitoring their children's use of technology or the internet.
There was this case in Colombia where there was this kid who chatted with a random person and he overshared his details, and he got kidnapped a few days later because of that person finding out his address and a lot of details which he's not supposed to be sharing with other people. So this is something which could happen if children are not monitored when they use the technology or internet. This is a result of parents who are not really responsible in monitoring their children.
Parents are not aware of what their kids are doing. They should be monitoring the children's use of gadgets, and it will be a major issue if it's not taken care of. In conclusion, too much screen time is going to make children lose habits such as reading, playing games, and good old unstructured and imaginative play, which would result to get your children's brains wired and make them less prepared to thrive in this new world of technology. Children should be safe because the world will be in their hands in the future. So it is really important to take care of them, because they are children. They should be guided properly by us. It is our role of responsibility to take care of them. So thank you for watching. Bye.